Hello. Hi, everyone. Yeah, can someone confirm if I'm audible? Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Nice. Cool. So we have more people joining. Let's wait. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Okay. I'll take all your questions, and I intentionally kept the chat in the slow mode so that if you ask a question, you need to wait for 1 minute to ask another question. So I want everyone, to put their questions in the chat section. Nice. Okay, lot of questions. So let me first tell you this, why do I come late, very late, live very late? That is because, after the work hours and, after spending some time with family, this is the only time that I get to go live. So that's the only reason, nothing else. So many people, you might be thinking that why do we do this live sessions very late? Of course, we do it once a week, but I try to do it mostly at 10:30 p.m. IST or little late than that. Okay, let's start taking some questions. We have 300 people, so it's a good number, and I'll try to take some unique questions. And if you have any specific question, I can also invite you live and we can discuss about that. But first, let me take a look at the chat section and see if there is any interesting question. Please cover some topic on Google Cloud. Yeah, I know I haven't made any tutorials on Google Cloud. I have a tutorial for AWS, for Azure, Zero to Hero series. But GCP, I did not make a tutorial. And if I have to make it, it will take, I think, at least it would be a 30-day series. So it would take 2 months of time. So I'll take a poll on the channel, probably Telegram or on the YouTube community tab, to see if how many of you are actually interested. Like if I do a GCP series, because if many of you are not interested, I don't think it is worth spending so much time. Cool. Okay. So thanks for that question, Nimawat. Is learning Rancher beneficial? So again, people ask about OpenShift. I see some of you asking about Rancher as well. Let me tell you one thing, whether it is OpenShift, whether it is Rancher, they are basically distributions on top of Kubernetes. So if you know Kubernetes, you don't have to specially learn, or there are not many new concepts that Rancher or OpenShift has on top of Kubernetes. They're basically making your life easy by adding some plugins, providing some add-ons on top of Kubernetes. So you don't need to learn specifically Rancher or OpenShift. Learn Kubernetes. Focus on the fundamentals of Kubernetes and try to understand different features that Kubernetes supports. It is more than enough. So this question is also for OpenShift. People who are asking about OpenShift. So this question is also for them. Humble thanks to your contribution. Need a video series on disaster recovery. Okay. Is there a way for me to start a company, offer DevOps services? Yeah, there is a concept called DevOps as a service. And there are also startups in that space. For example, Deftron, it's a India startup and it typically operates on the same model, DevOps as a service. At least last time when I saw that product that they have, they might have changed the product, I'm not sure, but there is a concept called DevOps as a service, and yeah, many companies do that. There are a lot of startups. Three-tier architecture deployment, Himanshu, if you go to AWS Zero to Hero or Azure Zero to Hero, you will find three-tier architecture deployment videos on Kubernetes. So you can refer that. Just go to the playlist, take a look at the videos. We have deployed couple of three-tier architecture applications, which are e-commerce ones. Yeah, I think it should be enough. We have 350 people. Perfect. Great. Thanks everyone for understanding these live sessions and joining. Try to join them every week. They are definitely beneficial. We just go through the comment section. We sometimes invite people and go over the questions. Are you coming to Delhi for KubeCon? It's still 50-50. I'm not sure. I will definitely announce on the YouTube. If I am attending KubeCon, I'll post it on Instagram as well as the YouTube community tab. But right now, nothing is fixed. Uh, I'm intentionally trying to avoid travel because this year I traveled a lot, especially for these meetings and conferences. I traveled like I think 4 to 5 countries, and for almost 15-20 days I was, or even more than that, I was not at home. So I'm trying to manage things at home, trying to be more time at the home. So I'll see, 50-50 for now. I'll let you all know if I'm attending KubeCon in person in Delhi. Planning for any cohorts or YouTube courses, Udemy courses. Definitely not any cohorts as of now, but Udemy course is something, I gave it a thought, but I don't have any concrete plan as of now. What should I do if I do a Udemy series? Maybe if you have some idea, put that. Because my first priority is always YouTube. So every time if I get an idea, I immediately think of posting that on YouTube. So I don't know if I if I will ever make courses on any other platform because I enjoy YouTube. This live chat scares more, brother. Why does it scare? What is the scope of observability in the current market? Um, yeah, I think we touched 400 people. Great. What is the scope of observability in the current market? So yeah, the scope of observability is good. I think every company needs observability. So these days, if you look at DevOps, SRE resumes, observability is a required skill. So that's why we also made video on observability. If you are interested, take a look at it. It's a very beginner friendly observability course, and I try to cover most of the open source related things. Okay, there is one question around GPTs. What is it? Now with GPT, it feels like there is no need to learn anything, especially for working in services companies. Okay, that's a good question. But let me ask you something. Like, if you're working uh, in DevOps in a service-based organization, probably you might have some inbuilt solutions or proprietary solutions. Definitely, the public GPTs cannot answer that questions. And moreover, GPT is basically for, if you have an approach, you can ask the implementation to GPT, but approach is still something that you have to decide. If I have to write a CI/CD pipeline, I need to design CI/CD pipeline for my organization. Maybe the stages I can ask, like if I design a unit testing stage, probably I can go to the GPT and ask what is the command that I have to put for running the unit test cases. But still, the design is something that you have to do. And going ahead, I think that is how it is going to be. Every one of us will be using AI, and it would be part of our life. We will use AI as we use Google today. Imagine the world without Google. 20 years back, people did not have Google. People had books. So if they had any questions, they go to books, they read the concept, and they try to implement on their notepad. Things have changed, right? 5 years back, we use Google. Earlier, people used to use books. Then we moved to Google. Any question that we have, we just go to Google, ask. We find answers on Stack Overflow, Reddit, other sources, GitHub. Now we have taken another shift. It's the GPT shift. So we move to one level ahead. Now we just go to GPT, ask GPT. It gives even fine grained to the point answer sometimes. So you need to evolve from books to Google to GPT, whatever it is next. You need to keep updating yourself. Personally, I'm not, it doesn't even scare me because, you just need to go with the flow. How to be consistent like you. So I think one thing that I'll tell you is if you have passion for something, I think consistency is a byproduct. So build the passion, whatever you are doing, try to be passionate about it, or at least do something that you are passionate about. And let's say still you are not able to be consistent, so decide your timetable, decide your timetable, and say that these are the timings where I definitely focus on my work related things, and these are the timings where I can I do some other activities, I go out or I watch some movies, but in the dedicated work hours just keep everything aside and try to focus. Do it for 1 or 2 weeks, and I'm sure your routine will be set. Okay. You're doing great. Thanks, Shubham. You are also doing great. And yeah, on the channel, congratulations for your 100K. So I saw the videos, silver play button and other things. Doing great. Thank you so much from the community. Sometimes feel very low when applying for jobs and seeing the job description. Yeah, I can totally understand. Yes, you know, especially in November, late November and December, usually this phase is not that good for the uh, job search. It's not good for finding the jobs because there are very less number of opportunities. People go for hiring freeze, companies go for hiring freeze. So yeah, I can understand the point, but just be patient, use this time for preparing, and once we move to Jan, you will definitely see more number of interview calls. That doesn't mean there are no opportunities at this point. For example, even in my team in Red Hat, we have some openings. We did not do that. We did not freeze those positions. We will take the interviews. That means if there are any critical positions, especially the positions in India, they'll not be in hiring freeze. So still there are companies, but comparatively the opportunities will be less. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying in November and December you will not find or you will not get any calls. You will get calls, but you will get less number of calls. Okay, I did not go through it. I will definitely go through it after this live session. Thanks, William. I'll try to explore. One day you will have interview with me soon. Keep my name in your mind, Bhuvan, because I proud of consistency and inspired by you. Great, sure, Bhuvan. Can you explain database in real life for DevOps engineer? I did not get this question. Uh, Database in real life. For example, if you look at uh, maybe like if you look at one of our three-tier architecture videos, like the e-commerce application that we deployed, we used MongoDB or MySQL DB. So maybe I did not understand the question properly, but if you want to deploy a database on Kubernetes, you use the concept of stateful sets and you use the persistent volumes. That is how databases are deployed on Kubernetes. Thanks. Thank you so much, Piyush. Okay. Yeah, sure. I will announce when I'm going to start the MLOps series. Right, we just finished the observability series, so yeah, I will also do this. Can you refer potential candidates in your company? If yes, how to reach out to you? I don't mind referring people, but the positions in my team or in my company are usually different. They require high Go programming language skills or someone very good at programming. So if you have a programming background and if you also have, if you're good at DevOps, then you can message me on LinkedIn. But Go programming is mandatory. Thank you so much. Rust for DevOps. Okay, we are yet to do Go for DevOps. Maybe William, in future, once we are done with Go for DevOps, then we will do Rust for DevOps. But Go first, because Go is widely used in the DevOps space. So I'll do that and then probably Rust. I feel like compared to different technologies, DevOps has very less number of opportunities. Yes, it is absolutely right. I think many of you might also have this question. So let me clarify this. So you are right, DevOps has less number of positions, but a point that you also need to note is number of people looking for opportunities in DevOps is also very less. Why do I say that? Today, if you go to any engineering college, or let's say you look at 10 people outside, 9 of them would want to become a full stack developer. Only 1 out of 10 people, you might feel the number of people in DevOps and cloud are more, but just go out and see number of people trying for full stack development roles, you will be surprised. If there is one job, hundreds of people apply in the full stack development. The number might be high in DevOps and cloud as well. But when you compare with full stack development, the number is less, or the percent of people pursuing DevOps and cloud are very less. So, yeah, opportunities are less in DevOps and cloud because a company does not need DevOps engineers as many as they need developers. So opportunities are less, but number of people looking at this space is also less. Is CRD development worth it? CRD, do you mean custom resource definition? I did not understand exactly. How do you manage work and life? And also, what do you live for living, like company? Oh, so if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you can see all of it. But anyways, because you asked, so I work for Red Hat as a principal software engineer. I lead a product team, and apart from that, I do YouTube. Yeah, it is little difficult to manage. That's why, you know, you are seeing me live very late in India. It's almost 11:30 p.m. in the night. So I have to complete my work, then spend some time with the family, and then I come live. So, and mostly I try to wind up this live in 1 hour. We do it once a week. So if you are new to channel, try to look at the Telegram group. Whenever I come live, once in a week for 1 hour, I post it there. Yeah, there should be internship opportunities, but again, just wait till January. Previously, there were a lot of people on the channel who got placed in the DevOps intern roles. So, yeah, it's not something not possible. Abhishek, thank you. You are a life changer, DevOps engineer. I'm DevOps engineer for retail banker only because of you. It took me 10 months from zero to DevOps engineer. Very nice to hear that. Martin, congratulations. And finally, your hard work paid off. So, 10 months of learning is a long journey, but congratulations for succeeding. What about AWS database? Any option to talk directly? So, because somebody already asked about database, let me cover that one more time. So, probably I'll explain a enterprise architecture of how database is used in AWS. For easy understanding, let's take something like MySQL, because a lot of people might understand if I take example of MySQL. Imagine you want to deploy MySQL database onto a Kubernetes cluster, that is EKS. So what you do is you deploy MySQL as a stateful set, and you use the persistent volume, and this persistent volume needs some disk, right? So you either need EBS or you need EFS or something like AWS FSx solutions, maybe NetApp on tap. So what usually people do in enterprise, they go for solutions like NetApp ONTAP or EFS. If it's a large company, they look for premium solutions like the AWS FSx. Best example is NetApp ONTAP because it comes with deduplication. It comes with okay. Sorry, I think I lost the connection for a couple of seconds. But I was saying, if you use ONTAP, it comes with deduplication. It comes with very good backup, storage. The snapshot related features. So you will create MySQL as a stateful set, and for the persistent volume, you will connect it with NetApp ONTAP. For that, you use a CSI driver. There is already one video on the channel which explains this architecture and how to configure it. Probably I will do another dedicated video. Thanks, KK. Sudhanshu, as a fresher, will I get a job in DevOps? Please, batao. Sudhanshu, there are so many videos on the channel. I did many podcasts with freshers. So I don't know how to answer this better. I invited people who got placed as DevOps engineers as freshers in the organizations, both DevOps and cloud positions. I think I have invited almost 20 people on the channel. So just go to the channel, search for Abhishek.Veeramalla DevOps Fresher Podcast. You will find a lot. So you can see their journey, you can connect with them on LinkedIn. If you are interested, you can, talk to them, get their resume, whatever you would like to do. Please make a video on Istio and Palo Alto. There is already a video on Istio, which is my favorite video on the channel. Anshu, just search Abhishek.Veeramalla Istio Zero to Hero. It's one of the very popular video on the channel, and if I look at the stats of all the videos on the channel, the Istio Zero to Hero video, that has the largest or the highest average view time. So that video's average view time is almost 20 minutes. So you can imagine how much people love that video. Just search Abhishek.Veeramalla Istio Zero to Hero, you will find it. Got this stream recommended by YouTube algorithm. Checked out some of your content. Looks very cool. Looking forward to chat sometimes in future. Thank you so much, Mehul. Welcome to the channel. A very big thanks. Okay. Thank you. What is Go and Rust? So Go and Rust are basically, they are programming languages. They are the modern day programming languages, I can say. And they are very popular if you want to develop the applications in the microservice architecture with less footprint, multi-tenant, and if you want to develop applications with the multi-threading concept, then these are the programming languages which people use these days. In the DevOps space, Go is widely used, Rust is very less used. Okay, interesting. జగదీష్ చెప్పు జగదీష్, ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్ అడుగు, నేను దాని గురించి మాట్లాడతా. సో నీ క్వశ్చన్ కోసం వెయిట్ చేస్తా, నువ్వు క్వశ్చన్ అడిగిన తర్వాత తెలుగులో మాట్లాడతా. రియలీ? ఓకే, వాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ? Okay, following your YouTube channel, love watching the videos. Thank you so much. Calls are there, but due to notice period, they are not scheduling the interviews. Yeah, I understand if you have 3 months notice period, it is little difficult. Tomorrow I have interview, give me some tips. Okay, the best tip that I'll give you, if you have interview tomorrow, go through the job description as many times as possible. Understand the job description, because your tomorrow's interview is mostly going to be on that job description. So try to read the job description, read through the lines, understand what is expected from you, and try to talk in those lines. Let's say if they are looking for someone with good expertise in Kubernetes, I will talk a lot about Kubernetes in the interview because I know that is what they are interested in. So yeah, that's my tip. Read the job description as many times as possible and do your best. Plugin upgrade and Jenkins upgrade. Okay. Abhishek is real Pushpa from Telugu Wildfire. Thank you so much. How many DevOps engineer would be working for one team? So, there is nothing like that because it depends on the size of the team and it depends on the requirement. So, some teams might have 2 DevOps engineers, some teams might have 1 DevOps engineer. In some companies, there can be a centralized DevOps team. So, it actually depends on the requirement. So, there is no standard number as such. DevOps has good future or software engineer in upcoming years. DevOps is also software engineering. Maybe you're asking DevOps or development. Both of them have good future. AWS DevOps, 6 years average salary in India. See, I told this multiple times. There is nothing like average salary. How can you say average salary? Let me ask this question. There are thousands of companies in India, right? And there are tier 1 companies, tier 2 companies, tier 3 companies. How can you do average of TCS and Google? There are thousands of companies in between, right? So if you want to get 6-year engineer salary of a particular company, you can go to Glassdoor. Let's say you want to see 6-year experienced DevOps engineer salary who is working in Salesforce, let's say. So go to Glassdoor, go to Salesforce, see if someone has put their salary. That is how you can get an understanding. So you can get understanding depending upon a company, but not overall. Why don't you start making videos in Telugu? So we already have a Telugu YouTube channel, but I don't get a lot of time, so I'm not making videos there. But just search for Abhishek.Veeramalla Telugu, you will find that channel. Okay, 350 people again. Oh, so there are some super chats. Sushant, thank you so much. Do you have any one-on-one sessions consulting things? No, actually, I used to do one-on-one sessions on TopMate, but I hardly get time these days. Even this live session I'm doing very late in the night, so I'm not doing any one-on-one live sessions. Maybe you can follow me on TopMate. If I do it in future, you will get a notification. Or you can join as a member on the channel. So if you join as a member on the channel, if you have any questions, you can Slack message me. So just click on the join button and you can join the channel. You will directly get the Slack group URL or the Slack channel URL. Oh yeah, this is something that is pending for a long time. We will definitely do meetup in 2024. That is my promise. At least by 31st of December, I will do a meetup in Hyderabad. Like I told you, because of this house shifting, because of the YouTube, because of my work, I was not getting time, but I will definitely do it before 31st of December. I'll try to find a sponsor. If I don't find the sponsor, still I'll somehow manage to do it. Maybe a paid meetup or something, we'll figure it out. But I don't think it is difficult to find a sponsor at this point of time. I think our channel has, significantly large number of audience. It has a good name. So yeah. Thank you. What projects should be in DevOps portfolio? If you are a fresher, you need projects. If you are an experienced person, you should update day-to-day activities. For experienced people, projects will be the clients that they are working for, or the company that they are working for is itself a product. After seeing your observability class, I want to go through eBPF. It's in the initial stages of development but has huge scope in Linux. With the industry, yeah, definitely. Srikant, eBPF has a great potential because let me tell you, like for people who don't understand what is eBPF, I'll try to explain in simple words. So basically, if you take Linux or if you take a Linux kernel, updating Linux kernel is a very difficult thing. So for years together, there are no significant upgrades or patches to the Linux kernel. So there are very minimalistic changes and those changes happen once in a while because nobody wants to touch a Linux kernel, right? Making changes there, it takes significant impact, significant time to test. making sure the performance is the same, the scalability is the same. So people usually don't change the Linux kernel. But eBPF is a revolutionary technology. What eBPF does is it sits at your kernel level. It does not actually update your kernel, but if you develop a eBPF sensor, it intercepts the request to your kernel. For example, when we did a video on ground cover, so what the ground cover does, the eBPF sensor of ground cover does, so it takes the request that comes to your kernel and it intercepts in between. That is how it can track everything that goes to the kernel, and it can monitor the performance, the scale, do the you know uh, analyze the traces of your application. So eBPF is something which does not update your kernel directly, but it sits at the kernel level and modifies your kernel capabilities. I don't know if I explained it in the right way because it's a live session. I would prefer using the notebook or the notepad and writing it on the notepad. Maybe, if I make a video on the eBPF sensor, I would put that on the notepad and explain. But in a nutshell, understand that eBPF program is something that sits at the Linux kernel level, does not directly update the Linux kernel, but it modifies the Linux kernel using this program. Any recommended project? Uh, 2 days back, I did a video on the channel explaining DevOps projects. So just watch that video. I think just 2 days back. I know AWS, but sometimes they ask Azure how to convince. Just tell them that, I know AWS. I think the concepts in Azure are the same. So if you give me an opportunity, I'll try to prove in Azure as well. If they're okay, they're okay. They'll give you a chance. If in their company Azure skill is mandatory, like they don't want to take the risk, probably they'll not encourage you. But all that you can say is that I know the concepts of cloud computing. I think they are similar in Azure as well. So if I get an opportunity, I can prove in Azure. Hello, sir. How to practice DevOps without any charges? Because in AWS there are charges. Any alternative way? Use your laptop. But still, if you want to learn the cloud services, I don't think there is a way. You still have to go through AWS, Azure, or GCP. So you can do it with minimalistic charges, and especially all these cloud platforms, right? They are good at waiving off as well. So in case you exceed, you can request them, you can talk to the support and waive off your charges. They don't directly deduct from your credit card, right? Without you paying, they don't deduct from your credit card. Although they take your credit card details, but they cannot directly deduct from your credit card. So either you paid or you get your account deactivated, suspended, or talk to the support and waive off the charges. Another option is to pay the charges. Okay, let's see if there are any more interesting questions. Still, there are good number of people on the live, 320 people. So please ask. Is SQL mandatory? No, SQL is not mandatory. Uh, you don't need to have a good knowledge of the SQL command. Some basics would do. Only once they will waive the charges. Yeah, I think so. more videos on OpenShift. So when you ask such questions, right, please post what exactly are you looking in OpenShift so that I can definitely make a video, because I covered OpenShift in 1 hour. I explained how is it different from Kubernetes. If you need something very specific about OpenShift, please let me know, like OpenShift operators or any particular operator within OpenShift or the catalog sources, subscription. Try to put that. Some insights on OpenSearch. Okay. Hey, Docker Compose versus Kubernetes. We already have a video on that. But still, if you're interested, Docker Compose is basically for running multiple containers, but Kubernetes is an orchestrator. So they both are different. If you want to run two containers, let's say a application controller and a database controller container, you put both of that configuration in the Docker Compose file, in the YAML file, and you can run both of the containers. But if you are looking for a container orchestrator, so if you are looking for a solution with service discovery, auto healing, auto scaling, all that capabilities, you move towards Kubernetes, right? So Kubernetes is a different world. If you want to compare hand in hand, you can compare Docker Swarm with Kubernetes, but not Docker Compose with Kubernetes. AWS Amplify AI. Okay, sure. So I already have, let me tell you, I can, okay, I cannot show you, but I already have 15 video ideas on my notes. So anything that you're asking, I can keep a note of it, but it will be only after that 15 videos. The list is like, I have a video to do on FinOps. I have a video to do on the Sway agents. Look, like I can talk about all of those topics, but it will be a different live session because FinOps is a different topic. SW agent, Sway agent. I don't know how many of you know about Sway agents. They are basically something which can take a GitHub issue, automatically solve the GitHub issue and create a pull request. They are kind of the AI agents. And then I have a video idea on VLLMs, virtual LLMs, SLMs, small language model. I have a video idea to do on Claude. So I have already taken note of 15 concepts which I have to do the videos. How did I get these 15 ideas? Basically, last week I went to office in Bangalore, the Red Hat office, and we were just sitting there talking about different things. So anything that came new in the discussion that is not in the channel, I just wrote that in Notepad and I thought I should make a video on this for our subscribers. So you will see lot of interesting videos in next couple of weeks or in the next 1 month on the channel. Very interesting videos. It is really worth Helm in real world jobs. Yeah, Helm is required. Otherwise, how do you deploy things on Kubernetes? You either need Helm or you need customize, right? You cannot deploy them as plain manifests. You, Bhupender Rajput, Krish Nayak are good teachers. Actually, Krish Nayak and I are the same school. I are from same school. Oh, nice. Good to know. Yeah, I did a podcast with Krish Nayak. Bhupender Rajput, I did not get a chance to interact or I, you know, I never met or not even virtually. Maybe in future, but Krish Nayak, yeah. Okay, let's pick some more comments. What type of goal and tasks we do? What is that? We really do in real-time job. So goal and task basically writing Kubernetes controllers, let's say, or writing a admission webhook, uh, all these kind of things. Basically talking to the Kubernetes APIs, anything that deals with the Kubernetes API, or you want to contribute to the CNCF projects. Most of them are in Go programming language. What to do after completing Zero to Hero DevOps series? Go with AWS Zero to Hero or Azure Zero to Hero. In startups, people get to work end-to-end DevOps, but when it comes to MNC, they feel restricted to specific area. What do you think? Yeah, it's 100% right. If you work in a startup environment, typically you're doing a lot of things, so you get a lot of exposure. But when it comes to MNCs, yeah, there will be restricted access. There are different teams. Probably there is a DevOps team, there is SRE team, there is platform engineering team, and you as a DevOps engineer might get to work on less number of things. So yeah, it happens, but you can do things outside your work, right? I started my journey with TCS. I did not get to work on a lot of things, but today you have a laptop, you have a lot of things, you have internet, you have demo projects. So just download things, and apart from what you do on your day-to-day work in your MNC, just go beyond and practice things. That's it. Cloud security. Okay. So Viresh is asking for cloud security course. Okay, sure. We'll try that. Go for. I'm not sure. Android or DevOps? Like, you cannot compare Orange with Apple, right? They are two different things. How can I answer this question? Abhishek, I recently got selected in Atlas Capco as a DevOps engineer, manufacturing company. Should I join or should I apply for IT companies? If you like the job description, that's okay. It doesn't matter if it's a manufacturing company or IT company. So if you like the job description, I would say go ahead. What is Argo CD? How it is connected to Kubernetes? We have a complete playlist on Argo CD. We have a complete playlist on GitOps. So just go to the channel, go to the playlist section, look for the GitOps playlist. You will find it. If I have to explain you in this live session in a minute, Argo CD, as the name suggests, is a continuous delivery platform, but a declarative continuous delivery platform, which works on the principles of GitOps. So what you do is you define your application manifest, or you define your infrastructure manifest in a version control system. And Argo CD is a Kubernetes controller that looks at the version control manifest, the manifest that you put in the version control system, takes them, reconciles them, and deploys that on the Kubernetes cluster. And eventually it will keep a state between your Kubernetes cluster and the version control system. So that's it. This is Argo CD in 1 minute. Is there any alternative to Jenkins? There are hundreds of alternatives. Jenkins is a CI platform. Of course, if you look at the Jenkins documentation, they call it as a automation server. But a lot of people use Jenkins for continuous integration, and there are definitely multiple alternatives. Like you have Tekton, Argo workflows, GitHub Actions, GitLab CD pipelines, Azure pipelines, AWS code pipeline, hundreds of options. I got failed in 20 interviews. I hope you will get placed very soon. and I hope you are learning from your past 20 interview failures. One day, when you get placed, all of these interviews that you failed will actually help you. Like the experience that you gained from all of these interviews will help you in cracking an interview. So please don't lose hope. Keep trying. Your inspiration. Thank you so much. Is chef relevant today? So Progress Chef, I think they are trying to compete, but still with the advancement of Ansible. So Ansible has progressed a lot. So I would say Chef for Ansible, go with Ansible. Shell scripting first, Python next. What is Helm charts? Interesting question. Okay. So Helm chart is basically like, if you want to, let's take a very simple example. You want to deploy a application onto your Kubernetes cluster. You just define a Kubernetes deployment file, right? You might create a Kubernetes service file and you deploy both your deployment and service onto the Kubernetes cluster. Now, what if you want to deploy this application onto the unit stage Kubernetes cluster, staging environment, pre-production, production, and each in each environment you have different values for certain fields in your deployment. Maybe in the low level environment, you might want to provide the requests and limits, maybe the CPU requests as 2 CPUs. But in your pre-production, you want to provide the CPU requests as 4. So will you create different Kubernetes manifests for each environment? You can do that, but you are duplicating the work. So instead, you can use Helm, you can define a chart, and you can configure values.yaml, where you can use one single deployment file. And in the values.yaml, you can say that, depending upon the environment, pick up the value. Roadmap for Fang, there is nothing like that. Is MacBook Air good for eye strain? Yeah, I think so. Last 10 minutes into the meeting, into this call. So let me take more interesting questions in the last 10 minutes. DevOps security practices. Yeah, that's what is DevSecOps. Can we expect inclusion of AI agents in Kubernetes? Sure. Yeah, you should learn GitOps, not in place of Jenkins. GitOps is primarily focused on continuous delivery part. So you should pick up one CI and one CD. So in CI, you can pick up Jenkins or GitHub Actions, GitLab. For CD, go for GitOps. What's next? DevOps series is coming. Next videos, like I told, there are many interesting videos that I'm going to do. FinOps, virtual LLMs, Sway agents, Claude, how to use Claude, how to use the virtual LLMs, SLM. So a lot of things that I'm going to do. I'll try to announce what will be the next video, or maybe directly do it. Explain any endpoint related real-time scenario. What is endpoint related? Sorry, Rohit, I did not understand that question. Endpoint related. Yeah, sure, Vinesh. new real-time scenario-based question for DevOps and cloud engineers. So all the videos that we are doing, right, all the projects that we are doing, if you practice those projects, you will be able to answer the scenario-based questions. But dedicatedly, if I have to do, okay, I'll think about it. OpenTofu, yeah, I'll add OpenTofu to my list of pending videos. Yeah, you can use both CA and CD using Jenkins as well, but very less companies do it today because a lot of companies prefer GitOps for CD at this point of time. But to answer your question, yes, you can do that. Thank you. What is your motivation to start YouTube channel? No, I did not start YouTube channel like thinking of something. Initially, I was writing, things on a GitHub repo, like writing the README file and just sharing it on the GitHub repository. I created a organization in the GitHub called DevOps by Examples, and I was just writing, like creating multiple repos and posting GitHub examples there. I don't know who was looking at those GitHub repositories, but I was doing it. Even today, the DevOps by Examples GitHub organization exists, but I don't update it these days. Like I did not update it for the past 3-4 years, I guess. But from there, somehow I thought like I was training few people that time, few people from the US, and one day I thought, anyways, I was explaining them, let me record this session and put that on YouTube. So that is how I uploaded my first video onto YouTube, and from there, less number of people saw that, of course, but from there I uploaded few more videos that was in Telugu. Then I took 6 months gap because nobody were watching those videos. So I said I will not upload anything more. But somehow I thought I'll give another try, but this time in English. And that is when people started watching the videos, and eventually the channel got popular. Avijit, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm creating a server management panel. Okay, server management panel. Got it? Where you can manage your multiple servers in a single dashboard. Got it? So, what do you think about this idea? Yeah, I think I also did something in the past similar to this, where back then, like that was in 2015. Back then, I used a simple HTML page where if someone goes to the HTML page, they can see the list of servers that we have. And if they click on any of that servers, it just gives the health check of the server. So underlying, if they click on the submit button on the HTML page, it would invoke a JavaScript. Back then, I used to, work on Java. So it invokes a JavaScript, and that JavaScript talks to the Linux machine, right? And it talks to the Linux machine, gets few important vitals of the Linux machine, and sends that response back to the HTML page. But today, I think you might have a lot of tools, but for your personal automation or something internal in your organization, yeah, do that. It's good. It gives health check of all the servers in your organization. But do not focus too much on the UI part, because UI does not have to be fancy. All that it has to do is it has to give the relevant information. Is your server healthy or not? So focus more on the backend. And if you ask me today, use Python, because if you use Java, talking or making a SSH connection to the Linux virtual machine is not that easy. So use Python, and in Python, you can basically use different modules like Paramiko or There are different Python modules today. So using those Python modules, you can talk to the Linux servers and give that response back to the HTML page. If you ask me the suggestion, the framework suggestion, go with Django because it has a lot of middleware. It makes your life easy. So yeah, that is how, and it's a good idea. Thank you, Kaushik. Thank you, Vijay, for the super chat. Yeah, it's getting interesting. A lot of interesting questions, and this server management took me back, to the days where I was working in TCS. So yeah, thanks for that question. Do a small SRE series. Yeah, actually, the observability thing that we did is actually SREs. It comes under SRE roles and responsibilities. But these days, people working in DevOps also do a lot of observability. But sure, I'll do SRE short series. We have a complete playlist, Nitesh. We did complete playlist right from the basics of Terraform. Just go to the channel, look out for Terraform Zero to Hero, you'll find it. OpenShift, I was asked about moving from 4,000 nodes to 500 nodes. I'm confused as way to learn. I'm not finding resources to learn. Moving from 4,000 nodes to 500 nodes, I did not get that. Are you asking about draining the nodes? What exactly is that? Like you can actually talk to the OpenShift support as well, like if you're using OpenShift in your organization. What is the difference between shell scripting and Python? Uh, what is the difference? So shell is not a programming language, right? Python is a programming language, and when you try to automate scripts through Python, you have a lot of modules, you have a lot of libraries in Python. So a lot of times you don't have to write the code, you can directly use the modules. For example, if you want to talk to the AWS APIs, you have the request module in Python, or you have different kinds of modules in Python which are very matured than you writing the shell script. This is just a scripting point comparison. But Python as a programming language, like it's huge. Scale up from 4,000 to 5,000 nodes, I believe. Yeah, I mean, if the question is very specific, I can answer that. But 4,000 nodes in one OpenShift cluster, I think it's not even a right design. You need to evaluate like why you need one OpenShift cluster with 4,000 nodes. Why every MNC is asking about Python scripting for DevOps? Yeah, because you cannot do everything with shell scripting. You need advanced scripting using Python. For example, if you want to use a framework like Flask, or you want to use Django, so that you can. Example is you want to communicate with the GitHub webhooks and create a Jira request upon the webhook action. You can do that in shell script as well, but you will need to write a lot of lines of code. But if you use Python scripting, there is a GitHub client, GitHub module. Similarly, there is a Jira module. So just talk to the GitHub using the GitHub module and Jira using the Jira module. Another super chat from Abhijit. It's like cPanel, yeah, but user can use my dashboard, same as Cloudflare for domain management, where users can manage their multiple servers, file upload, web server, MySQL and everything. Oh yeah, got it. So it's beyond the health check. I thought you were doing it for health check, but you are trying to do little more. It's like a, not little more, actually more. It's like a cPanel where, oh, okay, so you can manage their multiple servers, uploading the files, web server. Great, interesting idea. Yeah, I definitely like it. So, if you have any demo version or, if you even have a architecture and if you want me to review, just put that on my LinkedIn chat, right? So if possible, I can also share some suggestion if I understand the idea better or if I have some insights on that. But what you're doing is very cool, Abhijit. Keep doing it. It's great. Difference between AWS and Kubernetes. So, like again, how do you compare Orange with an Apple? AWS is a cloud platform. Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform. So, yeah, Orange and Apple, they cannot be compared. You can only compare a good apple with a bad apple or apple with an apple. Okay, last two questions and I'll conclude this live session. But yeah, towards the end of this live session, there are very interesting questions. Thanks for asking. You omitted my question. Will you able to do a playlist on cloud security, especially on Azure? Okay, sure. I will keep a note of it. Oh yeah, K8 cluster upgrade. Nice. It's an interesting concept. I need example of end-to-end CI/CD pipeline using EKS deployment. So just go to the AWS Zero to Hero playlist. You will find couple of videos on that. That's what I'm saying. There are already videos on the channel. So before you ask, just go to the YouTube, search Abhishek.Veeramalla, whatever you want, Abhishek.Veeramalla EKS deployment, and you will find a video on that. So for your requirement, there is already a video. Sanjay, I think the last super chat for today is asking, I have hosted two applications in an EC2 instance. Okay, nice. And I have domain for those applications without load balancer. Is Nginx reverse proxy is the only way to host these domain name? Not only Nginx reverse proxy, you can use any reverse proxy, but yeah, the best way. One thing is, why don't you consider a load balancer? Like consider a load balancer. But otherwise, yeah, Nginx reverse proxy solves your problem where you can configure within the nginx.conf how requests have to route to the applications within your EC2 instance. Perfect. So thank you so much for watching today's video, the live session actually. And yeah, see you all in the next live session. In between this live session and the next one, we have a lot of interesting videos that are coming in, especially the FinOps one and few things related to the LLMs. So make sure you actively watch the videos on the channel. Thank you so much. See you all in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.